Welcome back to Midlife by Design. I'm your host, Lori Lisa, a human design teacher and alignment coach here to help midlife women use human design to shed others' expectations and be who you came here to be. And today, we are going to talk about the Wild Women by Design retreat because as I'm recording, I am lying here in my hotel bedroom with my soul sister partners, Soul Synarchy, the three of us. We got Maggie Thomas and Johanneke Kodde with me, and you are in for a fucking treat today. I can't guarantee that you will not piss your pants by the end of this episode because the three of us together are a hot riot. So we are going to talk about Wild Women by Design because this, my midlife mavens, is Midlife by Design. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Midlife by Design. Okay, today we are talking about the Wild Women by Design retreat, which I'm not even home yet. I'm still in Costa Rica with these two bitches. And we are going to we're going to talk about the bests, the breakthroughs, and the busts of our time at Imaloa with Wild Women by Design. So, welcome my soul sisters, Maggie Thomas and Johanneke Kodde. Maggie, say hi.
Hello.
And Johanneke, say hi. Okay. So, let's talk about the bests of this week.
Let's talk
about bests, baby.
Okay.
What are some of the bests of this week?
Too many to name.
Okay, well, the listeners are going to be like, thank you very much. I'm so glad I tuned in. So,
okay.
Let's get more
I think
specific.
we could start. The best was upon arrival, and I think upgrading everyone's room.
That was good.
Just because we could.
Yeah.
That was a total highlight.
Yes, and being able to bear witness to it on top of it, because we took them individually to their new accommodations.
Yes, that was delicious.
It really was.
It was just authentic, genuine joy that was witnessed, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to set
People
the scene.
jumping in the pool and...
Okay, so I'm thinking about one of our wild women who thought that she was going to be staying in a bungalow. And actually, let's back up a little bit because the Imaloa property is, 30 acres? It's about 30 acres, if I remember. Is that right?
Yes.
It's like pretty
30?
big.
I thought it was 80, but...
Oh, is it?
No,
Okay,
30.
there's a zero at the end.
Yeah.
I know that's super particular. It's big. And all of the accommodations are truly magnificent.
Yeah.
And it's also true that some of them are even a little bit more magnificent than others. And so one of our wild women thought that she was going to be staying in one of the accommodations.
A magnificent bungalow.
The Jungalow Bungalow, which is very cute and sweet and
Right in the heart of the
beautiful.
jungle. Like really. Like you're right in the thick of it.
so cute. And instead, though, she stayed at one of the Bali villas.
Yeah.
I was going to say house, something like that. Yeah, the Bali villa. And so we decided that we were going to put her there, and usually Imaloa staff will bring you to your room, but we were very excited to actually surprise them and capture it on video. And so we brought her to the Bali villa, and she was literally hyperventilating.
Yes.
Right?
Crying and hyperventilating, for sure.
It was actually so beautiful. But I think she was having a hard time believing what she was seeing.
Believing she was even there
And
to
then
start with.
receiving.
Yes.
I think that was probably across the board they were struggling to receive
And
that
to start
and feel
with.
like they deserved it.
But that
Yeah.
definitely
They
shifted.
definitely all did and more.
They so deserved it. And I think that really was something that shifted in the week. That they were more able to receive because the group was holding everybody so lovingly. And there was so much love being given out to each other that you couldn't really not receive it.
Yeah.
And I think they were all a little more open to realize that they all need to receive it or are worthy of receiving it. And I think more able to receive it because by the end, they were more open to that. But that first day when they first got there, were blown away by the jungle, by the welcome, and then to be taken to a room, which wasn't a room but a house.
Right, a house, a literal house overlooking the ocean in the jungle with your own private little dipping pool.
Yes.
Just insane, like over the fucking top, really. Like you, I probably would have hyperventilated, but it was just, my heart was just so full being able to give that to these women, right? And I know we all felt it. It was just like made us emotional and also just so happy and joyful and good stuff. Okay, that was definitely a best. That was a best. That was, yep.
What about the other thing, which I thought was so amazing, was that they naturally kind of paired up, some of them, and became new besties, even though they had never met before. Or there was two besties, or two really good friends who had never really, because they had young children, spend more than a few hours together, and even then usually interrupted by the children. And now they got to spend a whole week nearly together.
What a gift.
Yeah.
A few of them reflected that in the final circle, the community and the connection. And one of the things that we talked about this week was the difficulty sometimes of making friends, authentic friendships, where you can talk about things that are, somewhat spiritual, like human design, or nerd out about things, and that you're connecting because of shared interests, right? Versus because your kids, because your kids are in the same class or play a sport together.
Yeah, and the shared perspective on life as well.
Yeah,
this kind of open and willingness to learn, or willingness to do that personal development and evolve and change, and open to make changes, but also open to sit with the discomfort of that and to process emotions that coming up.
I think it was just their willingness to be vulnerable, but I also feel like that's more of a breakthrough than I think there's both columns. The best and
a breakthrough.
Piece.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, another best, the stuff, the food, and the whole place.
They really have. Yeah. So Maggie found this place years ago, and Johanneke and I have just been along for the ride, basically. Like, we're okay, we're showing up, we're going to help you make this happen. Thank God. Thank fucking God she was here with us. And yes, thank you, Maggie. But she found this place, and it is so magical, and one of the things that makes it so great is that they really have thought of everything, and the staff is just off the charts with their attentiveness and kindness, and
so helpful.
Helpful, and they see ahead what you need, and
they go over and above.
I think they genuinely love what they do. They're so authentic and so soul-led. And honestly, it was awesome to have them set things up and clean it up.
Right.
It took so much stress off of us of having to deal with that we could actually spend that time with our guests instead.
And a bit of recovery time in between for ourselves as well.
For sure.
It's key for any retreat.
For sure. Yeah, I think my only regret is that I didn't invite Vielka to come karaoke with us. I'm pretty sure she wanted to sing a song.
I think her arm could be twisted pretty quick.
Yeah, so if we host there again, we'll be sure to bring her in. But, Carla this morning was dancing with us when we were saying goodbye, and she was crying, and it's just really magical
And do we need to talk about the divine masculine on the beach?
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
So we went to the beach. We went to a beach trip, and we were accompanied by how many? 5 or 6? 5? 5 of the beautiful
beautiful Costa Rican men.
Woo! Including...
Wait while we pause for this.
for a hot flash.
Pause for the short break.
Oh my God!
Just
having hot flashes.
Okay. Right.
So
you were saying.
Yes.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm not editing this. So what we were saying was this. So we showed up at Imaloa. First of all, this beach is huge. It's miles and miles.
Playa Linda.
Playa Linda. It was so beautiful. And we were driving along on this road that was parallel, and I was just expecting to pull off to the side and set up a table. No. We finally get to, they actually had tents set up. They set up a tent with a freaking toilet. What? I am telling you, I felt like a queen.
Did you go and use it?
Beanbag chairs. There were rugs. There were rugs. What?
They had a whole playlist and snacks.
Snacks and great music.
Oh, man.
And then sunscreen for all of us mofos that never put any on.
Right. Oh, my God. Oh,
and then the lifeguard.
Jordy.
Jordy
the lifeguard. Yes. Jordy.
He was beautiful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Gave us a little talk about how the water is and can be dangerous, and how we need to be careful. And he set a little area out for us to be able to swim. And then he was talking afterwards about how generally the Imaloa guests listen to his talk and actually follow his instructions, and usually doesn't need to go and rescue them. But sometimes in other groups, in other circumstances, he has had to get some people out of the water, because the waves are like brown waves sometimes. They crash down really hard on the sand and then bring up a load of sand.
Well, that happened. And then this crazy darts out. She just keeps running out into the waves,
beyond
so
the waves.
far.
Oh my God. And everyone's freaking out, and I'm like, no, she's done it before.
Yeah. She swims all the time. And he did say, unless you're a very, very strong swimmer, very strong, very, very strong. He kept saying it, and I was like, okay, I get it. I'm not going above many. Exactly. He was talking to you. But she's still here. She didn't drown.
Did go out there, swim out under the waves, and came out the other end and had a little swim in the quiet bit. And it's only when I came back, done my swimming out the far bit where everybody I think was freaking out, but I couldn't see them because the waves were covering
so
them
big.
up.
Mm-hmm.
I did say to the ladies, I'll do my best to save her, but I'm not promising anything.
Did he say that? You said that.
Right? Oh, can't guarantee. I don't know.
And then I came swimming back, and it was only on my way back that I got hit by one of those big motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yes,
yeah, I got schooled.
Yes, you
schooled. Yeah. I got.
You got schooled and did like a face plant.
Oh yeah, my friggin' swimsuit I had so much sand up my ass. I can't even tell you. My buttocks were exfoliated quite well by the lovely black sands of Playa Linda. But back to the divine masculine. Because they are divine. But no, really. So we all showed up, and they were just so supportive. They were...
There were no egos.
Right.
That's the difference. They were just all there to help support us, be with us, create a beautiful experience for us, and that was it. And they all love nature. They all love the ocean. They all have a lot of respect for the wildness of the place. Mm-hmm. They already spotted a sloth, and they were like pointing it out and telling us about it. And they were just there to facilitate our experience with no other purpose than just being there for us.
Right.
No other agenda than just to. And that's when I said, this feels like divine masculine.
Yeah. It was such a good observation.
Can I talk about my favorite thing?
Mm-hmm.
So when we got there.
Oh, yeah.
And then Jesus came up to me and he's like, oh, well, I came this morning and I made a small labyrinth for you. And I was like, what? And I look and there's this beautiful labyrinth done on the sand. And I just hugged him right away. I just could not believe it. Like, it was the best surprise.
It was so beautiful.
It's just honestly, it's probably my favorite part
of the whole week. Yeah,
just because it surprised me.
Which is saying something, because this bitch had I'm pretty sure she had the breaths that I counted at night mapped out for me before, when I went to sleep to when I got up. There was a certain number. I'm pretty sure she had that all figured out.
And it was in the facilitator's handbook.
Right? Is that right? I had to check them off. No. So, surprising this one is a feat.
Yes.
So.
Well, I think because I wanted it right from the get-go, and then we didn't do it because they had told us that the gentleman who usually does it isn't always available.
Yeah.
And then just to have Jesus just do it organically because he genuinely wanted to, oh my God. And then to have all the women actually experience it myself, along with you guys. And then to see Jesus do it by himself was wow. It was special.
He did go in after us.
He did all by himself, and just in his own space, in his own body.
And he knew that it would deeply serve us, this group of women.
That was the beauty.
It was delightful. It's I still think about it all the time. And just him coming up to me all Hesha, okay, Maggie, this came this morning, and I made you a little labyrinth. It's small, and I was what? You made a labyrinth,
and it was big,
and it
wasn't small.
It was big.
It was beautiful.
It was perfection.
How did you even do it?
It really was.
It was so
beautifully
even marked
done. Entrance with an arrow.
Yes. It was so gorgeous.
It was so gorgeous.
And it was one of the most profound experiences I think we all had.
Yeah, I really loved
walking through that.
And then, of course, I had him put some extra pretty stuff in the middle of it.
Yes.
Right, because Maggie did
prepare
have some amazing crystals for everyone, for our guests. And we all made our way into the center of the labyrinth.
In our own
with
time.
a prompt from Johanneke, which was beautiful.
I'll give a little explanation. So a labyrinth, most people probably know what it looks like, but it has a path inwards and then a path woven through it outwards again. So it's like a one way in, a middle, and then another way back out. And the idea of it is that you travel through something that you've already been through. So we chose to go like your life's experiences, and you pause every time. You just kind of gently walk through it and pause every time a feeling or a memory of something comes up, and you just be with that without analyzing or judging, and then you move on until you get to the middle, which is like the now, but also the moment of rebirth, or the and then you walk back out, and that's kind of the future, and any ideas or any intentions that you might have. So there's a different energy walking back out. You're coming out a different person, basically. That's the experience.
I would say that piece was a big breakthrough for a lot of our guests, including myself.
Yes.
For sure. And you made mention this, Johanneke, that it was about the halfway point of the retreat, right, when that happened, and it was just perfect timing.
It felt like it, because we had done a lot of experiencing and moving through emotion and bringing up emotions and working through individually, things that might have come up in life, and we hadn't really looked forward from that point yet, and then it was a perfect turning point to start looking to the future, and how that might look different. And what was also beautiful, that everybody kind of wandered off in a different direction after coming out, and everybody naturally was just kind of went inward and had a moment to themselves to process the whole thing. And I think you had a little swim in the sea. I just sat by the sea on a log, and every now and again a wave just hit me, and I got sort of partially wet, and some people walked a long way in the distance, and everybody had their own personal integration moment afterwards. That was beautiful as well.
I think we should. Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Done with that part?
I was gonna move on to another best.
I have a best to talk about.
Okay.
You jumping off the fucking cliff.
Oh, I was gonna talk about that as breakthroughs. Yeah.
Well, again, I feel
Can I put a pin in it?
Yeah.
Can I put a pin and come back? Okay. I want to talk about the food, because I feel like right. I feel like when we're talking about generally like bests, the food can't be ignored. And what's wild is it's all vegan.
Gluten-free as well.
And gluten-free and vegan. And so, I don't know, I know for me, I tend to think of vegan as such a strict diet, and something that maybe I'd love to do. It feels like, this far off. Oh, maybe someday I would do that. And I mean, obviously, having meals prepared for you and just put in front of you 3 times a day, plus snacks, is like off the rails to begin with. That's already
always 2 or 3 courses as well.
Right. But just, I mean, okay, I had enough mushrooms probably for the next 10 years. I'm good. I met my mushroom quota.
And not that type of mushroom either.
But, how many times did we just, ourselves included, sit down and just be like, the sacral sounds.
Every time we sat down, yes. All along the table.
Everybody's like,
what were some of your favorites?
Well, the ones where I had second helpings.
You had second helpings?
Which ones? The potato? Did you go for the
potato thing?
Okay.
Because they bring this out plated, by the way, to the listeners, to be clear. They bring the food out plated. There is not a big pot where you can go and get more. So if you want to get more, you have to ask or go.
Well, I don't know if I was allowed to have more because I'm a host. or because I think I was the only one who asked for more.
I think you were. Because there was quite enough, pretty much, of the food. And I thought
some things I needed more of. I was like, I cannot leave here without
another plate of this.
What were some of the favorites? It was very much food as art too. right? Like, there was a goddamn flower pot. We ate a flower pot in this week. It was
a
incredible.
chocolate flower
Chocolate
pot.
pistachio flower pot or something. Is that what it was?
Yes,
I can't remember.
it was like this flower pot made of chocolate, and then the inside was like a, I don't know, like a
pudding
kind of ice cream-ish kind of thing. Yeah, it wasn't really pudding. It was more of an ice cream, I think, but it had like crumbles in it, and then crumbles on the top to make it look like dirt, and a little, I don't even know. It was crazy.
And then a little plant growing from out of the pot, like a little leaf, some leaves of some sort.
It's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, oh my God, it's so beautiful, I could never eat it. And then you eat the whole fucking thing in like 2 minutes because it's so good. Oh,
was that the same meal we had the leaves that wouldn't cut through?
Oh, the bok choy, yeah, that was. I just ate it. One fill.
That was great. That was really good. But every single meal was amazing, to be honest. I loved the lasagna as well.
Oh yeah, really the zucchini lasagna.
Yeah, see, that was the day that I opted for a double round of the mashed potato.
Oh, okay. Which was mashed potato, for the listeners, maybe doesn't sound super exciting, but this mashed potato was like this golden yellow potato, but there was chimichurri on it, right?
And then like roasted vegetables on it, and like
some cilantro.
The one with the garlic
sauce.
The garlic sauce.
That would be the chimichurri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? I had that. I don't even know what it was. It was like that one that was in like the little bowl, and it was like a weird
it was
concoction.
Like ceviche.
Yeah, it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a party in your mouth of flavor. That I was like, oh my God. And when they came to collect my bowl, and I was like, yeah, but I could have more. And they're like, okay. And they brought me another.
Another again.
Winning at life.
There was the potato one that we had in the morning with like the sausage thing. Yes. So I had another one, and then one of our guests came over and split it with me.
Oh, so you really had a lot of food there.
I was like,
that's so good. That's so good.
Yes, because you've been not been
enough.
You weren't eating that much before you came.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, this must have been just even
like so
better,
nourishing.
Right?
Yeah. On every level.
Yeah.
Sacral, soul, physical body, all of it.
Yes. The pancakes were good today as well.
They were. Yeah. Chocolate chip pancakes. And they, moving from food. Oh, and everyday fresh juice. Fresh.
Every day different type of fresh juice.
Oh my God, that chai last night.
Oh.
Yeah, that was really good.
Meeting us anytime, so when we first got there and we were all hot and sweaty, meeting us with cool towels.
The cool towels.
That had been, I don't know, infused with spearmint or something.
Like a peppermint or eucalyptus or something.
Some minty smell.
Yeah. Just wiping that all over your face and
'cause it's
maybe
hot
in your
in the
armpits.
And I have a picture of you. That was right when we got there, and I have a picture of you wiping your arm.
I know, because everybody's all like, we don't know each other very well. We're going to be all proper and just dabble my face. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm so stinky. I'm going in. But you know what? By day 3, we were swimming naked in the pool. So,
Was it day 3?
It was.
Yes. Was it not day 1?
Or was it day 2?
No,
day 2.
It was day 3.
It was day 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
We lose track of days, which is another one of the best things.
Was it the same day we swam with the frogs? Was that day 4?
I don't know that. I just know that the nakedness started after the blue clay experience.
Yeah.
Did it? Okay.
Yes. That's
of course
right.
it did.
That's
yes.
Right. That kicked it off. Okay, let's talk about breakthroughs because there were many, right? And going back to the blue clay.
Yeah.
Well, first let's just talk about Miss Lori here, who actually jumped off a cliff and faced her fears.
Yes.
But that was after the blue clay.
I know, but it was part of it. And it's something that needs to be spoken to, and I think it takes first prize.
Okay. I definitely have a thing about heights, and getting that high up in general terrifies me. I don't know. How high was it? It wasn't that high.
It was quite high.
It was high enough to scare the shit out of me, but it wasn't that high. Anyway, I don't know, 30 feet? Or what did he say? He was talking in meters, so
Yeah,
I don't remember what he
5
said.
meters
But
or something?
4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 meters.
yeah, okay. Because Jesus, so not 30 feet. Jesus was with us for this excursion as well, and so one of our wild women decided that she was going to climb up to the higher cliff because there were 2 places you could jump off into the water, and so she went up, and then another one of our wild women was like, yes, we're doing it, let's go. And so I said, okay, and I was thinking in my head, okay, I'm gonna be supportive, I'm gonna, like, in solidarity, I'm gonna go up with these women, we're gonna jump off. And then I got up there at the top and I looked down and I was like, oh shit, this is not good. I don't think I can do this. Oh, and so the first wild woman jumped off. She did it. She jumped in. She's like, okay, I'm going to go. Do you want me to go? If I go first, will that help? And I was like, maybe. And I was just standing there. And then...
Standing there,
gripping onto the rocks behind me.
Meanwhile, I was filming, waiting for her to jump,
and waiting.
But we could see your whole process from there, right? Like we were watching you, and we could see it in your body shaking, the facial expression of how fucking scared you were. Like just this like uncertainty of like, am I going to be safe if I hit that water? And like this vulnerability that you were allowing everyone to witness.
Yeah, it was definitely very much like I was on stage.
Because everyone got silent and everyone was just watching you.
Everybody was totally silent, and I was like, there was pressure, you know. I was like, okay, I have to do this now. Like I can't fucking back off now, you know. Like I'm like modeling. Yeah. This is you know facing my fears,
walking the talk.
Right. So, but man, if my body was not fighting me so hard, like my hands were tingling, I was, you know, making fists and then stretching them back out to try to get them to like have feeling to come back in, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna like I don't know. I didn't realize until after I got out, and Johanneke asked me, were you hyperventilating? And I was like, no, I was breathing fine, and I said I just couldn't feel my hands, and she was like, you were hyperventilating. Oh, okay. And Jesus was next. He was standing there next to me, and he, again, the divine masculine, he was just like, it's okay.
Right? He was so patient. He wasn't pushing you in any way. He was just sitting there waiting for however long he needed to wait for you to do it. Like,
yeah. And it was a long time, listeners. It was minutes. As
like
Johanneke said.
I know.
About 15
I have about
minutes.
No.
It wasn't that long.
It was
10?
No.
Oh my god. At least. Yes,
it was about 5.
Hey.
No,
way.
it was about.
It was probably 5.
Because there was time when we were waiting for the other person to to jump. So it was. I was filming for about 3 minutes, and then I didn't dare to stop in case he would jump. I think this is a lot of redundant filming. But I've done this before with my kids when they were little, and then paused it, and then that's the moment they jumped, or I pressed the button wrong somehow, and then I get the bit in between, but not the jumping bit. So I was so scared to miss it that I didn't want to stop recording. So it was a while.
Because I said to you, please get this video. Yeah. You have to get this video because my kids will never believe I did this.
Yeah, exactly.
And sure enough, Johanneke sent me the shorter version. So she recorded a couple minutes of me just
Standing there,
freaking out, processing. And then she recorded a video that was about 1.5 minutes, and that one is the one that I jumped in. And she sent it to me, and I shared it with my youngest son, and his response was, "Took you long enough." And then I would have flipped that. I was like, "Oh, my little 1-3 man."
Thank
Jen.
you. Yeah.
Of course, that's exactly what you would say. Oh yeah,
That was a big breakthrough.
It was.
That you did that.
It was.
Facing your fears.
It was scary as shit. And when I hit the water, I tweaked my leg a little bit, and so I was like, "Oh, god damn!" And I was under. You're under for a long time. And then I came back up, and all of a sudden, just the emotion hit me. And it was after the blue clay experience, and I think it was also obviously this experience that my body had just gone through, and just came out my eyes. And
release.
Just as I was crying, and then Maggie was whoosh, right there. "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I'm so proud of you," which was lovely. And I was like, "Oh my God."
Oh, we're so proud of you. Everybody was cheering.
Yes, which was just another example of this beautiful, supportive container, that we created with this experience, which as a retreat host, I think for me, coming into this, I kind of had in my mind, like, you're at the helm, and yes, you get to experience all the things, but first and foremost you are holding space for these women. And I think because our retreat was so small, and we had this group of women that created such safety, that it allowed for us to get vulnerable as well, which I think also it was like modeling, and just this also, I don't know.
We had each other as well. So, there's 3 of us. So there was always that space for one of us to go a bit deeper, or, go into the experience a little more.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the group was so beautiful that we felt held by them as well.
Yeah.
We might have been leading it and deciding what happens when and how to do it. But the field gets created by the group.
Yeah.
So that was so beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to talk about the blue clay for you?
Do I?
I don't know. It's an invitation, but...
So the blue clay, when we got to this beautiful river spot, I don't know. The jungle just decided to make everything come to the surface that I needed to process.
Has a way of doing that, right?
It really does. And I could feel it starting to bubble up as Jesus was doing his introduction to the clay. And then he's like telling us to, okay, you guys are going to pair up, and you're going to, work on each other and allow one person to experience it and release whatever they need, and the others are just going to apply the clay. And I was like looking, I'm like, okay, so it's going to be pairing up everyone's going to be in 2s. And I was like, I guess I pulled a Lori.
I knew you were going to say that.
Where I was being avoidant because I could feel what was coming through, and I knew these bitches were going to get it out of me. So I was like, oh, well, I'll pair up with one of our guests, and you 2 can go together. But like, no, like the 3 of us need to stay together. Like this, like we need to do this together. I'm like, no, we don't. Like, okay, I'll just wait, and I'll go with one of our guests. It'll be equal and split. And then they made me look at them. And they saw right through my fucking BS. And the tears already started. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the whole experience was really about a new kind of fear that was arising in me with everything going on with my breast cancer diagnosis. The fear was around what things would be like after surgery. Everything from like the recovery of the surgery itself to my own impression of what sexy and feminine is, how I would be received even by my partner, and all the things. Like, so it was really just about processing that fear and that uncertainty, the lack of knowing what was coming entirely, and also my own mental state of like, what is this going to be like how am I going to process it all? Because it's one thing to kind of go through the lead up to it, and then another thing to deal with the aftermath. And even I talked about like wearing a dress, like what's that gonna feel like? Because I had this hot dress coming in and they all commented on it, and then it's like, hey, well, am I ever gonna wear that dress again and feel the same way? So yeah, it was quite profound, and it was total ugly cry while they slathered mud all over me.
And that, probably having two people witness and put the mud all over you at the same time.
Right. And I definitely felt very supported and held in it. And I mean, I needed these two chicas to do that for me.
So glad we could do that for you.
Yeah, and then that is kind of where the topless part started. It was actually more of a honoring of my breasts. I feel like it was like giving them some love and attention, and being very vulnerable, because it's definitely not anything I would ever have done before, especially in front of like essentially a new group of women. Like, it's not like going there just with my besties. It's like, and like you said, kind of sitting in this seat of being at the helm of facilitating, and then also being vulnerable at the same time. But I did really feel like I don't know, I just kind of felt called to it. So yeah, so I did it, and I allowed everyone to see me fully. Yeah, and that was probably like one of the most profound experiences for me for that whole week, and definitely something that I needed to release so that I could move forward.
It's so powerful, and I think it was a beautiful celebration of femininity. Why am I putting an extra M in there? I don't know. Femininity. And I should also mention that we had 3 gorgeous millennial goddesses with us who just, I think, reject the idea of having bras on anyway on the regular, and so they always have tits out. And I mean, I don't think for 1 millisecond they were thinking that clay was not going all over their boobs. So I think that was helpful. And again, going back to the divine masculine, so Jesus again led this excursion for us, this experience. And we all, I think we
stood in the circle, didn't we?
Yeah, we all noticed, like, when he pulled everybody together in a circle. You know, there are like 4 women there with their boobs out, covered in clay, and you know, there was no ego, right?
No, he didn't flinch.
Like,
he didn't even
blink an eye, right? Just another normal day at the river.
Just very respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't make it feel awkward at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So that blue clay experience just allowed us to, you know, the idea was to process something that you're going through as you're putting the clay on your body. And then, you know, as it dries, the sun bakes it, you reflect. and then we come together in a circle, and there's an expression, a vocal expression of how you're feeling, and then you release everything into the river and release the concerns or the pressures or whatever it was they were reflecting on. So, and then this is maybe another best. When we were leaving, I was not in the car.
I wasn't either.
Were you?
I only saw like the tail piece of it.
Okay, so you saw it.
Were you in the car?
No, but I saw it.
You saw a tail.
Were you in with me?
I was. I didn't see it. Okay, what we're talking about, listeners, is
one of the participants had just said, "Watch the time."
Oh yes.
It says 1, 2, 3, 4. The time was. Mm-hmm. She says that's always a special moment. It reminds her, makes her think about her late mother. Mm-hmm. And, can we also send some love to my mother? She made the whole car do that. Mm-hmm. And the moment they did that, the puma jumped in front of the car. And
crazy.
That's just crazy. Yeah, and the driver just, who's also a beautiful member of staff, Peter, jumped out, or stopped the car and jumped out and got really excited and started running after the puma. And all the women in that car were like, what just happened?
What just happened? Because these men have never seen a puma in all the time that they've been in Costa Rica. Like they live here and they've never seen one. So they're very, very rare. So such a special.
I saw like the back legs of something. I didn't know it was a puma at the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, what are we stopping for? What was that?
I know, we were too late on the car suddenly stopped and everybody was getting out and we're like, what's going on? But it was gone by then.
Yeah.
But I just thought the experience that group, the front car had, together in the car, and then that to happen, and then it's very, very special.
Absolutely. It just felt like the entire week. It was, sometimes people will be like having a shit week and just be like, it's one thing after another. This was the opposite experience, and just saying one thing after another of just like layer upon layer of layer.
Amazingness, yeah.
Bliss and deliciousness, and so good. Okay, other breakthroughs?
I think just in general with our guests, there was so many breakthroughs of recognizing like who they are or feeling like they've been seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Reconnecting friendships, creating new friendships. That's like fully stepping into vulnerability. I think there was so much.
I feel like clarity was a pretty common theme for a lot of the women by the time they finished our time together.
By the final days, yeah. The first days were more processing, and things would come up in the safety of the group. Mm-hmm. And then moving through it, and then there was more and more, the fog would lift, and they would get ideas and insights of, oh, this is where I'm going, or this is why I'm doing it that way, or this is what I want.
Yeah.
And that peeling away from those layers.
Mm-hmm.
Because we also had the beautiful dance experience.
Yeah.
The cacao ceremony and dance.
Yes.
It was so good.
Just singing and dancing. So I thought I was going to bed after that. I was so tired. And I was like, when she said, oh, okay, well, we'll do it, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll, if you want to go back to your rooms, you can do that, and if not, maybe you'll stick around, and you can do some more dancing. And I thought she meant like more of the ecstatic dance. And I was like, okay, I'm peacing out. And then freaking like awesome music comes on. And I'm just like, oh, no, I'm lit up again. Here we go. Let's keep dancing. It was like a whole new experience. And it was dancing and singing and...
Right, and then they handed us the mics, and we were like, okay, yep.
It was a little warm-up to our karaoke night.
That's right, absolutely.
It was so fun.
And the ecstatic dance was, I think the timing of it was perfect. It was on our second night?
Yeah.
Second night. So everybody had gotten a chance to start to know each other a little better, and I think Vivian and Leon just did such a beautiful job of leading us through a dance that brought in the elements, which was one of our themes, and also a bit of an exploration of the archetypes, and I think
the wild woman, isn't it?
Yeah, the wild woman, and the dance. Just, I think dance in general invites people to be a little more playful, and I think Vivian and Leon did such a beautiful job of it, pulling us in gently, for those of our wild women who maybe didn't love to dance, or a little more reserved, or a little more guarded. I felt like I could see them starting to loosen up by the end of that. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very lightly done. So the cacao ceremony set it all up.
Yeah.
And then it was gentle and light and playful, and it was the lead.
And it was like the perfect amount of time.
Yeah, it wasn't too long and too intense.
Yeah. And then we had time to sing afterward, and
that was beautiful as well, because some of the group were just so tired they went to bed.
Yeah.
But then some bangers came on. I think it was Whitney Houston was like,
that's right.
So the half of the group was like, bing, we're awake again.
How can you put Whitney on I Want to Dance with Somebody, and that's just...
Right. I was like, damn it, I'm not going to bed.
That's right. And then that was the night that we came home, because we were all hot and sweaty, and we jumped in the pool.
With the frogs.
Oh, yes, I think that was with the frogs.
Because the first night, was that a breakthrough, a best, or what was the other thing?
A bust.
A bust? Oh, no.
The
first night I had a frog in my room.
Oh yeah, so that was maybe a bust.
I was thinking of the bust.
We're not talking little frogs here. We're talking Costa Rican frogs.
Big toads.
That's right. Everything's bigger in Costa Rica. It was like the size of my foot.
Because I hadn't tweaked that our pool in our house was the frog pool.
Right.
Frog pond, really.
It was,
so that was where they live.
Yeah,
sort of.
They had their own pool party going on.
So I left my door open to my bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the happy frogs had frogged into my bedroom. So when I came home at night, I was like, oops, there's a big fat frog in my bedroom. What do I do? So I tried to shoo it away. But it kind of hopped itself under the wardrobe or under the clothes rack with all my clothes, because it was scared of me, obviously, and it wouldn't come from under. And I wasn't going to pick it up with my hands and pull it from under. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to hope it stays there tonight. I'm just going to go to bed then, maybe. So I went to bed, and then sure enough, I woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of a plop, 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 which came closer to my bed again. It's like, I need to put the light on because I think this frog's on the move. And sure enough, it was coming my way. So I was like, okay, I'll open the door. But me getting up, opening the door, scared it to the other side of the room. So it jumped away from the door. I'm like, no, don't do that. And then with the help of some flip-flops and a sun hat and another door that I opened,
he was evicted.
Managed to evict him eventually, but that was a nocturnal adventure on the first night. And so the second night we came back after being sweaty and dancing to a chorus and found how many? 6 frogs in our pool? At least 6 frogs in our pool.
Yeah.
But
full on in the pool.
In the pool swimming.
They were really having a pool party.
You certainly were.
And we really wanted to swim, so we were just like, all right, guys, you're just going to have to move a little, give us a little room.
But they wanted to party with us. They kept coming closer and closer. To the point where we couldn't see where they were, and we would swat at them accidentally.
And it was the little ones who were swimming around the most, isn't it?
They're pretty cute though. They're
They were cute, and we did get
fingers, little suction cups. Yeah, they were very cute. So there was nakedness.
Nakedness and frogs.
Right. Yes.
The temptation to kiss, but no. No princes.
Right. Okay, other best or breakthroughs?
The sound thing.
Oh,
which apparently there was a gong which I missed.
Me too.
Oh, you missed it too?
I totally did. I fell asleep.
Did both you bitches fall asleep?
I don't know, first 15 minutes maybe.
Wow.
I thought I heard all of it, and then Leon was saying that she got quite shook up by doing the gong, because she was like gong, and she was like doing, and her whole body would shake from standing next to the gong, banging it, and I was like, gong, which gong? I didn't hear a gong at all. It's like, well, we heard a little snore coming from your direction. No. Yep. That's the worst.
You had, it was just a little like, it was one of those like those, it was like a snorry snort kind of thing.
And that's the worst if you hear the sound buff and there's additional sounds from humans.
Well, that was not my experience of the sound bath at all. The first 15 minutes...
You couldn't get out of there fast enough for whatever reason.
Yes. The first 15 minutes were very relaxing, and I thought my other experiences of sound baths have been that they've been really chill, and I was like going into it thinking, oh, I'm gonna get like some extra sleep.
Chill. It was totally chill.
Oh my God, not for me. I don't know. It's interesting. So I'm high sound.
Ah.
What are you two?
I'm high sound.
Oh, you are, and you fell asleep.
I was wiped.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
But one of the other guests was the same as you.
Actually, quite a few of them.
Yeah, really?
I think, after talking to them, I think there were 4 or 5 of us who felt really activated after the first 15 minutes, and especially when the gong came in.
No idea what the gong meant.
Maybe we just got saved by our snoozes.
I don't know what it was about the gong, but anyway, I was laying there. My eyes were still closed, but I brought my legs up and was just moving around and rubbing my feet together to try to soothe myself, because it just felt like I had ants in my pants, or like restless leg syndrome or something. It was that kind of feeling.
But they had said that, because it was the day of the blue clay, that the vibrations of the sound it will work whichever your experience is, but it can really bring things up and integrate things, and all sorts of things can happen in your body.
Totally. Which is why I love that we're just brilliant, how we wove the different experiences in with the workshops, with the integration, I think the flow of the whole week was just divinely planned, 97% by Maggie Thomas. Even making the small pivots when we got there, the small changes, I just really think that the way the whole week unfolded was divine timing.
I guess I was learning in there as well. I mean, the second day was workshops and information.
We dove into hormones. We dove into Sungate. We dove into root center and adrenals. We dove into signature and archetypes. Elements we talked about.
There was a lot of information, but also a lot of embodiment and integration, and it was a mixture, wasn't it, of experience and learning.
Absolutely.
And free time.
And free time.
And massages.
And
ridiculousness. Because there's a lot of laughs as well, as you might be able to tell from this.
Photo shoots.
Photo shoots, yes. Shout out to Martha for coming to shoot the retreat for us, and then offering self-love shoots for our wild women. And the women who took her up on those just had such an amazing experience. it sounded like an amazing confidence boost for them. And I think they're so excited to get their photos back. And there may or may not have been...
How are you going to phrase this?
Nudity in those some photos. I don't know. I can't.
It wasn't mine.
There wasn't yours. Yeah. Again, a celebration of the feminine.
Yep.
Right, and coming at that from an empowering perspective, right, or empowering stance.
Yep.
Just so many opportunities to step into that feminine power and be supported by the women there and the jungle, right? It was like the symbiotic relationship of all the different things coming together. Yeah. And then the conversations that everybody was able to have, both during free time to, continue to cement the bonds that they were building, as well as just conversations at all of the meals. One of our wild women is just her human design. We met her last year at a human design retreat, and between now and then, her human design knowledge and
oh my goodness,
it's just right. It's crazy. She's like a walking human design encyclopedia.
She is now.
She's like,
she does have a one line
human design wiki. She does have a one line. Wikipedia.
There's another name for you. Wiki.
That's right.
Yeah,
Dicky and Wiki. Okay, one of the things that we asked our wild women to do was to name the
Itty Shitty Bitty Committee.
Inner critic.
Is it Itty Bitty Shitty Committee or Itty Shitty Bitty Committee? Because you say it a couple different ways.
The Itty Bitty Shitty Committee.
Okay.
The inner critic.
You're the one who says Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Well, yes, I am a proud member. Although menopause has changed that just a little bit. But anyway, the Itty Bitty Shitty Committee, on the other hand, is, the inner critic. That one of our wild women calls hers Dicky. So now we'll have to say she's got Dicky, and she's also an HD Wiki.
And Princess
And then, yes, we also asked our wild women to name their inner wild woman. And she has Princess Mona. So good. Okay. Okay, were there any other busts?
The only real bust would be like that it rained the 2 days that we wanted to have a bonfire.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was so interesting, though.
Right? It was like
literally the only 2 days.
Yeah.
The first night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the last night.
And the last night.
Because the first night we couldn't do it because it rained. So like, okay, it doesn't matter. We'll do it differently and we'll adjust. And then we're like, but we could do it on the last night because that would be really nice to have a fire. I love fires, and I was like, I really think we need to have fire. Maggie kind of was like, nah, not sure, but let's do it. And then sure enough, it rained on the last night. So the jungle was not letting us have a fire.
Right. No. I think she wanted to, I don't know, she wanted us to just deepen into the other elements, and it actually worked out again perfectly because we had that final session, which we were also going back and forth about where to host it.
Yep.
We had it where we began the whole thing, so it was perfect. It was just it was perfect.
That's true, the first and the last.
Right.
Yeah. And it was a beautiful session. And I think what we also busted, or one of the things I'd like to bust, is this myth of the eternal summer. And the myth of always continuing to be that good mother, the good girl, the person that's always there for everybody, and is feminine, and is beautiful, and is demure, and is pleasing, and is pleasant, and is so, so
and
kind and caring and wonderful and completely unrealistic. And particularly going through the perimenopause, that's the one that's got to go.
That's
the one that's got to be busted. So I think we hopefully gave that message quite loud and clear to these women.
Yeah, and I felt like some of them were definitely starting to embody that, you know, by the end, like not being quite so reserved, you know, or didn't seem to feel uncomfortable as they may have at the beginning of the week with being vulnerable, really.
And just speaking. Just like telling their own story and their for some, karaoke helped with that.
Oh my god. I was just gonna talk about that.
I'll say it out loud so everyone can hear it.
Okay, we're getting it. It's recording. It's recording. Just reminding you.
Are you listening?
I am. Lori, I can't wait.
Lori, you were right.
Thank you,
will
Maggie.
No longer have to fight for karaoke on any agenda.
Yes.
Okay, a little backstory. When we were planning the retreat and we were thinking about all of the different possible things that we could do, karaoke is an option that they offer at Imaloa, and I was so excited. And both of these two were like, what? Really?
Are we really going to do this?
Oh God.
Okay, just like checking the agenda again. Like, is there something else we can do here?
I'm like, no, I really think we need to do karaoke.
I warned you.
Final print on this. What are we doing with the karaoke slot?
Answer: karaoke. Karaoke is what we are doing in the karaoke spot, Maggie. That is what's happening there. And I made my case that karaoke was spiritual, but you still weren't having it. You're like, fucking A, it is not, Lori. What are you talking about? And then...
And I warned you as well that you do not want to give me a mic.
Which you may or may not have seen on Instagram. There is verifiable proof of that. But I want to just give a shout out to Leone, who shared a beautiful story of why karaoke is spiritual, which is her experience recently of going to karaoke, and she had been really blocked. She's working on a book and had been really blocked, hadn't been able to, it wasn't coming together. She couldn't write, and she went to karaoke. She wasn't excited about it, but she sang a few songs, and then literally it unlocked. I loved how she used her hands as if she were wringing a towel when she was talking about it, and she was just like, it's like unlocked it. And then I literally just wrote. I sat down and wrote the book in 2 weeks. I slept 5 hours a night, and just everything, she said, it just opened up my throat chakra. And it was such a good story. And again, not everybody was excited to sing. We had definitely one wild woman who was pretty damn reluctant and trying to avoid, I think, singing at all costs, but she got up there because we supported her. We sang with her, and she did it. As I told her, this was her cliff, and she jumped off it. So I was very proud of her, and I think she was proud of herself. And can we just talk for a minute about Johanneke's singing?
You mean laugh?
You know when Lori said
all in?
Oh man, she is all in. It's like,
and she
okay,
can't sing.
like, okay, bitches,
awesome.
You want me to sing karaoke? I guess you asked for it.
Yes. You're gonna endure this.
That's right. You're gonna endure this. Oh, and then not only is she's like, okay, I'm gonna do karaoke. She chooses "What's Up" by 4 Non Blondes.
The hardest song in the world.
Seriously, like, who chooses that? It's like choosing I don't know, fucking Mariah Carey or something, right? Like her.
But it's such a good song. It's such a powerful song.
It is 100%.
No, but I mean, didn't quite come across the same. But you know, I did scream for a revolution.
That's right. Your theme song, right? Oh, it was so good. Yeah, karaoke. You've heard on the pod before in previous episodes about just what singing can do for the vagus nerve and for opening up your throat chakra whenever it's feeling blocked. And so encouraging you to sing in the car, sing in the shower. I listened to a Spotify playlist this morning that was like songs to sing in the shower. So just encouraging you to do it and not edit yourself if you feel like you can't, quote, can't sing, you know, and I think
even if you get laughed at, it's okay.
Right. I mean, we modeled it, right? And by we, I mean you.
I love that you owned it and you just like went for it full out and you didn't stop halfway. You like went right to the end with
such
like
fervor.
Yeah, and like body movements and intensity.
Yeah.
Completely off key, but that's
okay. Who needs keys? Oh, it was so beautiful. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, so that was a bust and a best.
A breakthrough and a bust at the same time.
Everything.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the final piece is that final day where we spent the whole afternoon just hanging out, and we did a bit of learning, but actually we had lots of journal prompts, and everybody just sat down and took time to really think through the whole week and write what they kind of gained from it, and next steps and ideas. And that was Laurie, the teacher in you, is like, I want them to come away with something.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had time blocks for everybody and checking to make sure they were doing it.
Right, I know, right?
And a playlist.
Playlist, I know. It's definitely my 5-line coming through, but I felt it was important that people walk away with something that felt tangible. And it's, you know, it's not about the plan, right? In the end, it's not about the plan. But I think the exercise of going through all of the questions, I mean, there were a lot of questions that were reflective looking back, but also, as Johanneke said, like looking forward. What are you going to take from this week and how can you apply it? And what changes do you want to make now that you've had this detox, now that you've had this chance to reset, now that you've had this chance to really find some clarity? And they had the opportunity to sit and write for a few hours. You know, this block of time we had was a long chunk of time, and I was actually surprised at how
seriously they took it.
Yeah. I guess like really intentionally, you know. We did have to break up some, you know, silly students who were goofing off and, you know, needed to be separated. So we figured that out. And once we finally did that, then people were able to write and...
we were going off riffing about something completely different.
Exactly.
But there was snacks, and they brought us some mocktails as well.
Oh,
they really didn't ask for that, did we?
It was amazing.
That was good.
Different ones from the ones that they greeted us with when we arrived.
Beautiful, like different colors.
So good. And yeah, I think the planning piece helped them walk away with something tangible, and also the sharing afterward was a great opportunity for them to kind of, you know, a little bit of closure, right? A little bit of like wrapping up, trying to pull everything, synthesize, I guess. A chance for them to synthesize. Yeah.
And in the closing ceremony, having a simple attention repeated back by the whole group, that was beautiful as well.
Yeah. I think we fucking nailed it. I mean, for the first retreat,
I feel like we set the bar pretty damn high.
Oh, we sure did. We sure did.
Yep.
For sure. So, I don't know. Did we miss anything? Did we get everything?
That was.
I'm sure there's plenty more, but those were.
I think we covered most of the activities and most of the experiences and the friendships and the. Yeah.
It was a truly divine week, and I know.
Maybe one more thing to say is the whole process.
From the projector.
It always has someone.
It always is.
Open sacral. Don't know when enough's enough. But that the whole process of getting us there, from the decision to do it to actually being here and having done it, that was a whole other level of initiation for us all.
Yeah.
That in itself was our
I feel like that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Really?
Probably. But I was just going to acknowledge that's been huge. And there have been moments where we were seriously questioning our own sanity for having even started this whole process.
Yeah.
But we knew that when the moment we decided it, we had followed our strategy and authority, and it felt like it was divinely led. We felt like we were guided to do this. But then you kind of think then it's going to get easy, but actually the opposite was true. It just got harder and harder and harder. We're like, did that actually happen? That moment when it felt like it was all divine?
Right.
And now we're like, were we losing our minds when we decided this?
Yeah.
So we had to hold that vision, and really that's losing that certainty along the way completely, and still holding the vision and believing that it was all meant to be. And now we know why, because this was beyond what we could have even imagined.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
So true. How many times did the both of you just do a pinch me, or you kept saying, this is my life, right? As a mantra to remind each other.
It's like multiple times.
I knew it was going to be awesome.
I knew it was going to be awesome, but were we going to pull it off? We actually,
yeah.
But the main thing was it going to go ahead? That was the biggest question at some point, halfway, within that process.
Yeah.
Because I knew we could do it. It's that I didn't really doubt that, but it's still over delivered, I think, because it wasn't just us. It was a co-creation with the jungle, with the place, with each other.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for the ripple effect. For all the women that were there and everything they experienced, and who they are now compared to who they were when they showed up, and the impact that they will have on all the people in their lives, and that whole ripple effect that extends along the world.
Yeah. It makes those days when it was really hard worth it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It was so right.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Well done, ladies.
Well done. High fives to all of us. We are amazing, and thank you so much for listening to today's pod. And if you weren't with us on this retreat and you are now salivating and kicking yourself that you didn't come on this retreat, then we understand why you would feel that way. And also, you should send us an email and get on the wait list for when the next one comes up, and you will be one of the first to know. We've already promised first dibs to the lovely ladies who jumped in with us this time, and if there are spots left, then we would love to have you reach out to us if you are interested. And thank you so much for listening to Midlife by Design, Maggie and Johanneke. Always a pleasure, always fun. I don't even know. It's like the three of us together are wild women indeed.
Yes. That was the main comment from our participants, that the energy between us is something else.
Something else, indeed. Well, thank you. I love you both so much, and I feel so grateful and blessed to have met you, and I still am pinching myself sitting here like we actually did this, you know, and we just met like a year ago.
Less than a year ago. Yeah.
Less than a year ago, right? And we've hosted a retreat together. So, all right,
nearly.
We're fading. We're tired. So thank you for being with us, and until next time. What do I usually say at the end of the podcast? Oh, I know.
Came here.
Do I know? Let me think about it. I am wishing you the strength to say fuck off to the bullshit, and the courage to be yourself, and to get naked. And seriously, there should be more nakedness in your life, and the strength to be who you came here to be. Thanks so much for hanging into the tired delirium of today's episode, and apologies about the sound quality, us being in the hotel room together, and we had 2 mics with the 3 of us, so it was a little tricky, but hopefully you could hear everything okay. And I really hope that you were inspired by our retreat experience. And if you want to get on the list for our next one, send us an email at info@soulsynarchy.com. And Soul Synarchy is spelled SOULSYNARCHY. Also, I have 3 one-to-one coaching spots available for the spring that will go fast. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, apply now. I'll leave the link in the show notes with the application. The application is to just give me some context, tell me a little bit about you and what you want to work on. And then I'll be in touch via email to discuss details and see if it's a good fit for both of us. Now, I am sending you the strength to let go of what no longer serves you, joy to fill your days, and the clarity to be who you came here to be.